So we'll delve more into Liverpool tactically as well.
Yeah.
Of course, earlier on in Klopp's regime, we're talking about like the Kiev season when Salah went mental. The press that they had, I just wanted to bring this up. Luke, you could elaborate on it a bit more as well. But the press that they had was a triangular press. We might have it on the graphic on the side over there, just over there somewhere. It was very triangular in the sense that Firmino instigated the press.
Forced it one side,
and then the wingers would sort of narrow into and box him off the side. And in that sense, turnovers happened with the wingers getting the ball first, sliding through Firmino holding it up almost, and then trying to create for the wingers to finish it off. And that reflects in Firmino's best ever goal scoring season, because he was usually the one closest to the goal. In 17-18 it was, Firmino, 54 games, 27 goals, 17 assists. And I think that was very much down to the structure of Jürgen Klopp's press. The second season comes round, and I think Jürgen Klopp tweaked it just to keep it a bit more unpredictable. And in the sense, he had Firmino drop back into more conventional false nine role, which he does play anyway, but more in like whilst in a defensive shape. He dropped back.
He's more of a 10 in that defensive shape. And the strikers become more or less strikers.
And they instigate the press. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So the right forward and the left forward instigated the press, and they still forced them wide. But instead of having the defenders try pass around them, hopefully the graphics...
They had to pass it in.
They had to pass inside the field, where now Firmino and some of the midfielders...
Henderson and Wijnaldum would shut them off.
They'd shut them off, win the ball, and now it was Firmino at a deeper position sliding through the wingers. And that's why the wingers carried on playing at a high level and scoring goals, and Firmino's numbers probably declined, but his creative numbers probably went up slightly.
And I think, like Klopp said about why that system changed, well, Pep Linders said it, that system changed because if you want to win league titles, sustaining that huge press we had, it left us weak at the back, and it caused us problems. And the second we changed system, all right, Firmino's numbers depleted, but then you see Salah and Mane stayed consistent.
And it's more sustainable in terms of fatigue.
And it meant we had, in those games, you're kind of having to go toe-to-toe with the team to ensure that you get the goals and win. With that press where Firmino instigates it, but in the one where he drops in, it doesn't mean that we have to be as toe-to-toe with the team. We can just control the game and manage it, and that was what made us be as successful as we were.
And that was in the 18-19 season, which was when you pushed City all the way, and you won the Champions League, and
then we continued it.
And I think it was a more sustainable team around that time.
Yeah,
and sort of where this big tangent sort of leads to is, how do you think Jürgen Klopp will change the press for Liverpool this year round, and how will that affect Liverpool's standing in the leagues? That's what I wanted to ask you.
It's really difficult because it goes on team selection, and it goes on how if he changes his setup, because you've got in my opinion, like the potential change with Thiago. Like, does he stay in the Wijnaldum role, or towards the end of the season, especially in the games against like Burnley, against Southampton, he started to operate higher up in the pitch, especially when Fabinho came back, like against Man United too. He was a lot higher up than we ever saw Wijnaldum, and we anticipated him to be. So that could be a change, but the main person is Firmino or Jota. If it's Jota, he'll instigate the press.
So it'll be more like the 17-18 press where we saw Firmino as the furthest forward.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But it all depends how that front three play with each other, because when it's Jota, Mane, Salah, they're very interchangeable. And you'll see Salah sometimes in the number 9 with Jota on the right line. They completely switch round. But I feel with Jota, he'll have to, if he is in that pressing system, he will be the one, like Firmino, to instigate forward first.
Right, okay.
And how that works with us, I'm unsure. Do
you think it suits the current squad to be more of a sort of high intensity toe-to-toe pressing side, like you said, in 17-18, especially because with that press, you need so much recovery pace because your team's so high up, and you've got Konate and you've got Joe Gomez back in, you've got Van Dijk back in. It may suit you to go back to that variation of Jürgen Klopp's press with Jota up front. Mm-hmm. But I think the fact that you also have the sort of luxury of having Firmino as well, You can change it depending on opposition.
I honestly think as well, like, I actually think playing the old 17-18 press is better against the big teams.
Yeah.
Like, especially, I mean, look at the Man City teams we played against. Like, for instance, of recent times when we've gone more try and control the game against City and not as toe-to-toe, I think the game's been a lot more closer. But when Klopp used to just go typical gegenpress, get on, we seem to just run City over.
Yeah.
So in the big games, that might be the better choice for us. And especially against a team, say, against Tuchel's Chelsea, I think if we try and manage the game too much against them, we could end up causing ourselves problems with that high line and stuff with the new team they're about to build. But see, and I think that's what you say, the luxury of having Firmino and Jota allows us to change. So I don't think it'll be how will Liverpool change their press. I think they'll just make the best of both worlds in the system and use the versatility to their own advantage.